print on demand, the ultimate buzzword of every course seller online nowadays. I'm sure it brings to mind words like passive income and 10k a month, as that is what is largely promised. And if you're watching this video, then you are clearly hungry to build some passive income or a side hustle or that kind of thing. Great. You are now in the actual right place. I promise you, this is the best video resource for print on demand because first of all, we specify onto posters and I'll explain why they're the best. And second of all, we go into detail about everything. Because these buzzwords like passive income and £10,000 a month can be true, but we're not in the business of false promises. Print on demand and selling posters does take hard work, time and patience, but it really can work. I've been self-employed for over 2 years from selling posters. I have made over £10,000 a month multiple times, largely in the Christmas months, and I've also taught other people to do it before. I taught someone 6 months ago how to sell posters. This December, they made £22,000 from selling posters, and they've quit their day job. And I can say this hand on heart, swear on my mother's life, I'm not BSing here. This is a very much no BS course. It really can work, and we will show you exactly how to make it work for you too. So if you drink coffee like me, grab a coffee and get ready. If you don't, do whatever you need to prepare yourself. In this video, I'm going to go through what is print on demand, why posters are the best, what you need to get started, and why we think you should sell on Etsy. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some actually useful information. Just jumping in here with a quick bit of info, and no, it's not a sponsorship or advert. We have all of this information on our school community if you're watching this on YouTube, which I highly recommend checking out because it is a place where you can interact with other people on a similar poster journey. You can ask any questions you have. We will be doing weekly drop-in calls and things of the like. It is really the place to maximize your knowledge with posters. And like I said, all of these videos on there and more, go check it out. The link is in the description, and I'll also put it on the video right here. So, for those of you unaware, what actually is print on demand? It is essentially a form of dropshipping, but you create the products yourself by adding your design. Therefore, you can essentially call yourself an artist. You will be adding your design to posters, for example, that will then get printed and shipped around the world. So, your products don't actually really exist physically until you get an order. Before that, they just exist digitally on your computer as files. This is the beauty of print on demand because you don't have to deal with any stock. You also don't need to do any rainy trips to the post office or anything like that. Your product does not exist until a customer has ordered it. This means that you get the money from your customer and then use that money to pay for the printing of the product. This is beautiful, which means that you don't keep any stock, you don't have any upfront costs or anything like that. Print on demand also works exceptionally well because you can offer global domestic shipping. This means that you can print and ship in your buyer's home countries, which completely avoids international postage and international wait times. This makes your products so much more attractive to a customer. If you're in the UK and the customer in the USA is deciding to buy a poster and you can offer 3-day free shipping, as opposed to someone that it's 2 weeks and costs about £10, it's a no-brainer. The customer is going to choose your product every time. Hopefully it's now pretty obvious why print on demand is an exceptional business model. No physical stock, you can work from anywhere in the world from your laptop, no matter what time zone, no matter what time of day, no matter where you are, and things of the like. It is an exceptional way of making money. There is no hassle whatsoever. So, we really encourage you to sell posters specifically. This is what this video and all our other videos are about because we genuinely think they are the best product for print on demand. So why is that? First of all, they are the easiest product to design. A poster is a rectangle. What you see is what you get, which means as you are designing your poster, you can see it come to life in front of you and you already know exactly how it's going to look in real life. This is different from t-shirts, for example. You have to mess around with a front design, a back design, the size of that design, where it's going to go on the t-shirt. You have to think about tags. There's just a hell of a lot more complications. But with posters, what you see is what you get, which, trust me, makes your life infinitely easier. In a similar vein, they are the same consistent quality everywhere. A poster is literally just a design printed on poster paper, and no matter where in the world you ship using PrintShrimp, it is going to be the exact same quality. There's no messing around with worrying about stock and things like that. For example, again, if you go for the t-shirt route, you need to try and have the same type of t-shirt in every single country. And then if you want to offer different colors, you need to make sure all of these colors of the exact same type of t-shirt are always in stock. This gets so confusing, and trust me, using websites like PrintShrimp and Printful in the past, they do run out of stock of designs. With posters, we're never going to run out of paper, so you don't need to worry about that. Now for the important bit, the money and the financials. I'm sure this is what you're all here for and what you're all thinking about. Luckily for you, posters have an amazing profit margin. I think they genuinely are one of the most profitable things to do in print on demand. Because posters come in different sizes, your profit per order will vary a little bit. On the very low end, it'll be about £5 or £6 profit. This is only using PrintShrimp, by the way, because we're so much cheaper than everyone else, for an A5 size, for example. But as you go up to the bigger sizes, you can enjoy profits of up to £30 per poster, which is insane. You would never get that kind of margin on a t-shirt or any other product, to be honest. People pay big bucks for the big posters, and that is also where a lot of your sales will come, with the big sizes. So £30 profit per order on the higher end is absolutely amazing. Let's do some quick maths. If you're working an average job in the UK, you're probably earning around £30,000 a year. Maybe it's not even that much anymore. To make that, you need to make £100 profit per day. If you're making £30 profit per poster order, that is 3 to 4 poster sales a day of the larger sizes to make over the UK average salary. Do you know how insane that is? And do you know how doable that is? When you have a big Etsy shop, trust me, you will be pulling in that amount of sales. It's almost a given as long as you can make good products, which we will teach you how to. So what do you need to get started with selling posters? First of all, the main thing is expectations and keeping it real. Like I said, this is not a get-rich-quick overnight scheme. If you are in debt to the Albanian mafia and need to pay them $50,000 tomorrow, this is probably not the thing for you, and I apologize for wasting your time. But if you are ready to build up a consistent income stream with a bit of hard work and patience, this is absolutely perfect. So I think it's important to keep it real. This does take work, does take time, but you will make it work for you. Other than that, the only real thing that you need is a computer or laptop. Unfortunately, I really would not recommend trying to do this from your phone. I don't think you will succeed. It's very important to have a laptop and computer for designing and that kind of thing, and running an Etsy shop. So if you don't have one, maybe come back again when you do have access to a decent computer or laptop. It does not need to be high spec at all. As long as it can run some form of design software, you're good to go. On this computer or laptop, you need access to some form of design software. For those of you just starting out with design, I highly recommend Canva because it is free and it is very easy to get to grips with. It's very intuitive and it's quite obvious what you need to do when. I personally use Photoshop for my designs. If you already have access to Photoshop and know how to use it, I would recommend starting with this. But obviously there is a monthly cost and I don't want to put any of you off at the start. So get to grips with Canva first. Use this for designing your posters, and in the next video, I will go through design with you and give you some pointers and starting out tips. The only other thing you will need is to start a Etsy shop. This is very, very easy to do as long as you are a real person with an address and a bank account in your name. That is essentially all you need and the majority of the information they will ask for from you. It is very easy to set up an Etsy shop. If you're watching this in most European countries, the UK obviously, America, Canada, Australia, countries like that, you can start one. I think there's very few countries in the world where you cannot open an Etsy shop, but if you are in any rest of the world countries, just double check. An Etsy shop is the only upfront cost for starting selling posters because it now costs £15 at the time of recording. This used to be free, but they've really cracked down recently. But this £15 will be the best money you've ever spent. Etsy is an amazing place to sell posters. It will also cost you 20 cents every time you upload a product. Again, this won't add up to that much, and you need to upload your products because then you can start getting sales. It will be the best money you ever spend. I promise it will pay for itself very quickly. So I've spoken about Etsy a lot in this video, so let me tell you why it is the best. You hear a lot of other people online recommend Shopify instead, but I do not recommend this. It is so much harder. Thing is with Etsy, it is a marketplace full of customers who are actively looking to buy. If you run a Shopify website, it is a cold sale to your customers, and you have to create your advertising campaigns yourself through like Meta Adverts and TikTok and things like that. With Etsy, your products are listed on the marketplace automatically, and then you can advertise through Etsy to bring sales to your shop. It's a lot easier to convert a customer if they're already on a platform looking to buy a similar product rather than cold selling when they're scrolling on TikTok and things like that. So Etsy really is the best platform. Also very easy to use, very intuitive, easy to copy over listings as you're uploading them and things like that. It is the perfect place to sell posters, and I think like the solid way to earn consistent income from this. So do set up an Etsy account. That £15 setup fee will be the best money you ever spend because that will be where you succeed. The wall art market is absolutely massive. Every house needs posters. There are millions of customers searching for them every day. There is no reason why you cannot be one of the sellers providing wall art to people. It is an amazing thing to get started in. I cannot recommend it more. I'm genuinely a case study. I've been doing this for over 2 years, and I have taught multiple other people how to do the same thing, and hopefully through this we'll teach a hell of a lot more. It is life-changing, to be honest. I've lived in Thailand for multiple years doing it. I've traveled the world while doing it. If that doesn't appeal to you, don't worry, just do it in England or wherever you live. It is seriously amazing, and this is no BS. I'm not trying to sell a dream here. It does take hard work and time, but I cannot recommend it more. So that is a brief overview of setting expectations and all the stuff you need to know for getting started selling posters. You really can make this work, I promise you. We have so many more resources on our YouTube and in our school, so please go check out the next video and get to work, because you can really, really make this happen for yourself, I promise you. So you are ready to start earning money online through print on demand. Well, welcome to, I think, the only video on YouTube that goes into great specific about the exact products that you can sell. Also, if you are panicking that you do not have any design experience, do not worry. I will go through this in this video to tell you how you can learn and get started and actually make quality products. Because I am sick of videos that say, oh, create an account with this provider, put a logo on a t-shirt, you'll make £10,000 a month. That is not how it works. But with posters, you can create products that will sell forever and ever on Etsy. There are no trends. You don't need it to link to your own personal brand. I can show you all the different niches and genres of posters that will sell well consistently forever to provide you an actual reliable income stream that could really become your full-time job, as it is mine. The beauty of selling posters online, it is proven what sells well. You can literally log on to Etsy and search for wall art, and you can see what kind of products are performing well, and then you can create very, very similar ones that are also guaranteed to succeed over time. So how categorized do you need your shop to be? Can you sell every different type of genre of poster, or should you stick to one niche? There isn't one truly correct answer. However, I think selecting a niche works really, really well. For example, one big one on Etsy are travel posters. I will show you examples and stuff further down the line properly, but travel posters are very, very popular. I personally think it is a lot nicer if a shop only then sells travel posters, because you got to think about the customer journey, right? If a customer searches for a poster of Madrid in Spain, comes across yours, likes it, they will then click onto your shop to have a look at what else you sell. It is a lot easier for them if you just specialize in travel posters, for them to find similar posters, to find the product that they just clicked on and things like that. You don't want to over confuse and over complicate. Also, Etsy will be able to rank your shop a lot better if you specialize more on one type of poster. It is a lot simpler for their algorithm and for SEO to push all of your products higher up in the rankings if you do specialize. Now, you don't have to be completely exclusive. For example, you could set up like a general home decor page where you can have a section for posters that are fit for the kitchen with like cocktails and drinks. You can have one that's general home decor, maybe for the lounge, or it's quote posters and things like that. But for example, if you have a section selling car prints and then travel prints and then prints of pets and dogs, it can get a bit confusing. And bear in mind, you can open multiple Etsy shops over time. So I would recommend selecting one type of niche to largely focus on, especially when you get started. Specializing does also make it easier, because when it comes to uploading your products, you can copy over your listings and then just swap out some keywords and things like that, rather than having to tailor the listing to a whole different genre of wall art. Again, we will go into great detail about how to maximize your listings and SEO further on in these videos. I think there are a few very important things to consider when selecting what type of niche to go for. I would say number one is, does it interest you? I've made the mistake before of just purely following the money, right? And just thinking, yes, this type of poster is looking like it sells well, but it's something that I'm not particularly interested in, right? And I think it's very important to actually take care and have some passion in what you're designing, because otherwise it becomes a bit of a slog. You don't want to be making stuff that has no interest to you and you just don't really care about. So if you can identify a kind of poster that is selling well, that you're like, yes, I'm into music, I'm into travel, I'm into this, I think it will make things a lot easier for you, and also let your creativity with design flow a lot better. I think on Etsy you can categorize the type of posters that people sell into three main categories. These are hard to design ones that are largely illustrations, they are AI made ones, and then there are the easy ones, right? I think the two ones that you should focus on when you first get started are AI and the easy ones. Easy ones, for example, I mean posters that are literally quotes, for example. You'd be surprised at how well posters that are literally a nice colour with a nice bit of text saying something, they sell very, very well. The other type, AI, I will delve deep into detail about how you can get started selling AI artwork, because honestly, that's the majority of what mine are nowadays. It's so easy to use, so easy to create good products with. I would steer away from the illustration ones because these are complex. There's a hell of a learning curve. They are really fun and rewarding to make, but they do take a lot of time. And when you're starting out, it's very overwhelming. So for now, focus on ones that look easy to design and the ones that are AI. A good way to differentiate what is easy to design, I like to think of design like a jigsaw, right? It is a load of layers. So if it is a poster that is not many layers and not many elements, even if it has pictures and things like that in, you will find that you'll be able to quickly put this there, put that there, put that there, and then all of a sudden you will have a good looking poster. So remember those two things, easy to design and AI generated. So let's have a look at the type of posters that are selling on Etsy and identify some things that you guys can get started with. So for now, I've just literally typed in poster. So whatever comes up, we'll have to take a look. This is a great example. This is some art that is now in public domain because Henry Matisse died ages ago. That will probably be generated with AI. So that is something you could easily replicate just by using Midjourney and things like the like, which I will go into detail later on. Other things, for example, you can see a lot of music prints. I will go into why copyright is not the move, but don't be tempted, trust me. But other things like this, very easy. That's a few elements, that's a bit of text. You can easily put something like that together. When I say the harder ones, I mean things like this. That is a bit more complex. So for now, steer away from things like that. You want to start simple and then build up your design skills over time. This is a great example. This is incredibly easy. That is literally a colored background with some colored text on a piece of paper. That would take 2 minutes to design and will sell well. And you can look at the kind of quotes that other people are selling and things like that. One other great niche for you to look at is travel prints. These might seem at first like, oh my god, I wouldn't know how to do that, but these are largely, in 99% of the cases, AI generated images, again, which is very easy to do. And all it is in terms of design is then putting that image into Canva, adding a bit of text on the bottom, and ta-da, you have a fully finished product ready to go. So I highly recommend looking at travel prints, for example. It is quite saturated, so if you can find something a bit more different to the rest of people, then I think you will have greater success going that route. And another very easy one, like I said before, quotes posters, where it is literally just text on a piece of paper. Now, a route that a lot of people go is custom prints, which is definitely something you could consider. However, I like to create products that I then do not have to do anything with. They literally exist on my shop. I spend a minute designing them and then they exist forever. And I do not have to do anything to make them to order. Yes, it is a valid strategy, but it's a lot more work. So I would kind of recommend steering away from that. As you can see, a lot of the quote ones are customs, but if we keep scrolling, we'll see ones like this, which you can easily do, ones like that, which again, you can easily do. And seriously, the barrier to entry with design is very, very low. And like I said, you will get better over time. So what I would recommend you doing is going onto Etsy like I have here and taking some time to scroll through. Just really look at every possible type of poster that people are selling and just take notes. Again, think about what interests you, think about what you think is easy to start with. There are infinite categories. For example, even food poster. Let's have a look here. That's probably AI generated. That image there is probably AI generated. They've just added in some text. Things like that. That image you could probably recreate with AI. I'm not saying these people have. A lot of these they probably have illustrated themselves, but with AI, a lot is possible. So seriously, go through the whole of Etsy, take as many notes on different categories you can as possible, and then think about what you would like to start with. What I'm about to talk about is very important. If you take away one thing when picking posters to design, I want it to be this. Do not sell copyrighted prints. Do not do it. It's not worth it. When you search through Etsy looking for types of posters to sell, you will see people selling copyrighted posters like this and like this. It can be tempting. There's a lot of people doing it, but trust me, these shops are on borrowed time. They will eventually get shut down by Etsy for copyright infringement. When you do get caught by Etsy selling copyrighted prints, that's it. That is your one chance at Etsy gone. You will never be able to set up another shop in your name, and it's just not worth it. Seriously, you get one shot at a good Etsy account, and if you keep that account good, you can then create more in your identity. There is money in selling copyrighted prints, but it's short-term greediness. You will get caught eventually, you will lose access to selling on Etsy, and you will throw away your chance at building this to be an amazing thing over years and years to come. Do not do it. In case you're not sure what is copyrighted, it is essentially anything that belongs to anybody else. So any music, any movies, any cars, anything like that, anything owned by a brand or a person is copyrighted. If you're not sure, do not risk it. Again, not worth it at all. The only thing that is quite cool is there are some things in public domain. These are mainly artists. For example, if you search Henry Matisse print on Etsy right now, you will see thousands of people selling them. That is because Henry Matisse lived in a time before mobile phones, hundreds of years ago. He's now dead, so you can now resell his art, and that's fine. So, don't be greedy, sell stuff that you think is doable and interests you, and do not do any copyright, and you will succeed. Alright, let's get into a bit of action then. Let's have a look at actually starting to design. My number one bit of advice for starting to design is literally copy posters, but not to sell. I think it's great practice to have a look at what people are selling online and literally try and replicate it, because I think you'll prove to yourself that it's not as hard as it seems. Now, I can't express this enough. Do not then sell these posters that you copy, because that is just blatantly ripping off someone else. Just use this as practice, and then, you know, put your own spin on it as well. Change some elements, change some colors, change some fonts, change the actual quote or whatever it is you do itself. Then make it yours, and then you can start listing it for sale. Okay, so let's go through design together right now. I have just found this poster on Etsy, and to be honest, I think it'll be very easy to replicate. So let's head over to Canva. See, literally go into create a design, and then if you come over to poster portrait, it already has the common poster format ready to go and ready to design on. You will see hopefully through this how easy and accessible Canva actually is to use. Now, I have some AI art that I've already generated previously, and there we go. Right, so here is our image. So now, let's literally try and copy this kind of as closely as we can. So we can see we need to make this picture square, nice and easy. Let's do that. And then we can drag it up here. And look, Canva is very useful because it frames things for you. It kind of shows you, look, that's pretty central in the image, that is square. So it's very, very intuitive. So now we just need to add a nice little title, and let's do a heading. So here we go, we can drag this up. I actually don't use Canva, like I said before, I use Photoshop, so if you see me looking around for what to do in a few places, please forgive me, but this is relatively new to me. But as you can see, it's all quite easy of dragging things out and the like, and again, the more you practice, the more you will get used to it. So now we can select some different fonts. Let's try and find one similar to what we've got on our Etsy listing. That's a bit different, we want something a little bit funky. Maybe something like that. Okay, so now we can see that's too big. So again, I'm just going to do the obvious and downsize this. Now we can drag it out and make sure it's nice and central. If we downsize it a little bit more, there's also useful tools. Like I'm pretty sure there is a way to position it in the center. There we go. Boom. We can make this now orange because again, let's copy. Not that we're going to list it, but we're just getting some inspiration. Let's bring it down. That's our title in place. And now let's put some text at the top. Do a subheading this time. Let's just say Museum de Poster because we're making a poster. Do that over here. Let's go for like 28. Boom. We can drag that over here. Can actually just copy and paste that. That's another thing. It's very important to don't spend time like re-adding elements. Just copy and paste when it works. Say France. Obviously, I'm not putting in exact text here. You will. And again, look at what other people are doing. So if you do go the art poster route, a lot of people just put text in places that doesn't really mean much. So just have a look and then put something similar in place. And then at the bottom, again, it is simply just some more text. So again, I can copy this out and then 06016 blah 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 Matisse France. If you come to here, you can align the text so then it sits on the left nicely. You can do other things like, so it already was bold, so we could change the font, for example, and just have a play around and see what looks nice. Like that's quite a nice font, so we'll go with that for now. We can make this larger. If we zoom in, more controls become visible, as you can see there. Let's do that. And already we're getting fairly close to what this poster is on Etsy. As you can see, this has taken 2 minutes, and I'm not even like pre-planned this or practiced this. I'm literally just putting text in places. Again, obviously you wouldn't normally repeat France and France. This is just for demonstrative purposes. And now if you want to change the background color, you can click here. Normally I would recommend like a kind of beigey background would be nice. Obviously not that beige. You can just go into the color wheel here. And if you go close to white, you really don't need to do it far away from white to get a nice beigey look. there we go. That is a slightly coloured background. You can do things like make this text not quite as black because it can be a bit harsh on the eyes. So again, if we come in here, we can do like a more grey. And it's then just a load of little things like this. Like I would recommend moving this text so it's kind of in line with the edge of the image and things like that. I'd also recommend leaving an edge around your posters. Do not go directly to canvas with individual elements. If you're selling a poster where it is just one big like AI image, for example, then yes, fill it because you don't want to leave a white border for no reason. If it's part of the design, that's fine. But leave a bit of breathing room, and leave breathing room between elements as well. Like you don't want to overwhelm things and have everything kind of squashed together. So for example, you can just add in things like shapes. So if we wanted to add a line, we can then make that a lot shorter. Keep things flat, like 0 degrees. I know that's now a completely straight line, and same here as I rotate it. Obviously you want to go to 90 degrees, and then it is not a tilty line, it is nice and straight. And then we can drag that down here. Move it in line, keep it to 90. There we go. Again, that guideline popped up and told me that that is now in line with this text and everything like that. And there you go. That is an example of, obviously I would do some more finishing touches and tidy up a little bit, but that is just to show how easily and quickly you can do designs like this. Like that took what, 3 minutes? And you know, that is basically pretty similar to what this is. So it's really, really not difficult. And again, the more you do this, the more you practice and play around, the more elements you'll discover, and you will get so much better over time. One thing to bear in mind with selling posters is that there are different sizes that you can sell, and to really maximize your shop and to maximize the amount of sales you get, you really want to offer as many of these as possible. PrintShrimp's standard offering is all of the major print sizes that you need, so I would recommend listing all of these to your Etsy shop. You really, really might as well in order to maximize. These are all of the sizes here that you can see on this diagram. When you are starting out designing a format, this is the easiest place to start. We in England are very normal. All our poster sizes are scalable. This means that if you design on an A3, you can sell that in A5, A4, A3, A2, A1, A0. There's no messing about with rescaling and redesigning and things like that. This is something that you will need to do for American sizes. There is a whole range of them, like 11 by 14 inches, for example, 16 by 20. You will need to reformat your designs a bit in order to fit this type of paper, because rather than all being scalable, they're all slightly different. This is why I recommend starting with A sizes. You then have a bank of the big sizes that you will sell largely in the UK ready to go. I would then recommend only redesign your posters to these other sizes at the point of sale. This saves you a lot of time beforehand. You do not need to make a design of a poster and then reformat it straight away to all of these different sizes. But when you do get a sale in another size, you can then go into Photoshop, go into Canva, reformat it, rescale it to then suit that size. This just saves a lot of upfront work and means you only do it when necessary. You might be tempted just to offer A sizes, because then you do not need to redesign any of your sizes at all. This is definitely something you can do, and is actually what I did in my first ever poster shop when I was less knowledgeable, but you will lose out on a lot of sales. So I highly recommend offering all potential sizes and then redesigning your posters slightly. It depends on the type of poster. Some of them, for example, if your poster is just the AI generated image that you have, it is very easy to rescale because you don't need to move any elements around if nothing gets cut off and things like that. Some other posters you might need to do a little bit of moving stuff around and that kind of thing, but it's worth it, trust me. It really boosts your shops and makes your shop as competitive as possible. I've mentioned AI a lot throughout these videos, and AI is going to be your absolutely best friend throughout this process. It is now incredible the kind of designs that you can create just by typing in some text and pressing a button. It is amazing, and you really should use it. Just to warn you, the AIs that you will want to use are often paid, so this is something to bear in mind if you are just starting out. Maybe you just want to start with non-AI designs as you get going, but I think an AI membership is one of the best investments you can possibly make. I highly recommend using Midjourney. This is what I use for absolutely all of my AI images. Depending on the plan, it can start as low as £10 a month, and it can go up to higher amounts, but that's only if you're generating lots and lots of images. It's incredibly easy to use and create amazing artwork. So how it works is you log on to Midjourney and then you type the text describing what kind of image you would like. You can use your imagination for this. You can just come up with a text, and oftentimes it will really replicate the kind of thing that you're looking for. Few things to bear in mind: Midjourney will by default generate images as square. This is good for some designs, but often we're working with the size of the poster. So in order to get it to generate images in the A size format of posters, there is something you need to put on the end of your prompt. That is --AR space 70:99. I will put that on this video right now so you can see it. If you add that to the end of all of your prompts, it will then generate them as the size of posters, so they are ready to put straight into Canva, straight into Photoshop, whatever you're using. One other great thing about Midjourney is that whenever you type in a prompt, it then generates you 4 slightly different images, all obviously adhering to the prompt, but with slight differences between them. This is great as you then get to pick the one that best suits you. Then what you need to do is scale creatively. It is then the highest possible quality, and I've tested this a lot. These images are high enough quality for you to print in any size that PrintShrimp offers, so you don't need to worry about lack of print quality or anything like that. Just make sure you upscale creatively. If I had one top tip to really take it to the next level, it would be to combine the AI that you will all know, ChatGPT, with Midjourney. ChatGPT does have DALL-E built into it if you have a paid membership where it generates photos itself, but I do not recommend using this. It is not very good, to be honest. I don't like the way it generates its images. However, where you can use ChatGPT is to get it to generate you Midjourney prompts. In fact, a little secret, you can copy a poster that someone has on Etsy, like literally copy the image, paste it into ChatGPT and ask for it to generate you prompts that will generate artwork in that kind of style. This is amazing and can really save you a lot of time. What I personally do is come up with the type of poster that I'm trying to create, ask ChatGPT to generate me a list of prompts for that, paste these prompts into an Excel spreadsheet, and then just go between the sheet, copy and pasting into Midjourney, and then just download them in bulk. You can bang out an insane amount of AI artwork in a very, very short amount of time by doing this method. For certain types of art, you might literally just be able to download this image from Midjourney and then upload it to Etsy. That might do the job and might be good enough. I think AI is better when combined with other elements. For example, like you see with the travel posters, a lot of people use AI as the actual imagery, but then add the text themselves. So that is essentially everything you need to know about creating your actual products that you are going to be selling to be making money. How cool is that? Next up will be things like creating an Etsy account and also optimizing your SEO so you can rank really high in the search results and maximize your sales. So check out the rest of our channel for all of that information and a hell of a lot more. So you're ready to create an Etsy shop to sell posters. Luckily for you, Etsy is a wonderful platform to sell on, and in this video I will take you through everything you need to know about setting up, what kind of fees you can expect, the things you can do to make your shop more attractive to customers, and also how Etsy can help you. Etsy is a wonderful platform and I will take you through all the need to know knowledge in this video. Now, you might have previously been spammed with adverts for Shopify and things like that, but I promise you Etsy is actually the best place to sell posters. Trust me on this. Etsy is wonderful because it's already a marketplace with customers looking to buy things, so therefore any sales are not cold sales. With Shopify, you are your marketing CEO. You have to do every form of marketing to bring customers to your shop. With Etsy, this is not the case, and you're already selling to people already in the market for posters. Etsy has a huge wall art section. People know it. Trust me, mums know it. They know to go to Etsy to buy posters, and there are so many people buying posters because at the end of the day, every house needs a poster. What are the costs with Etsy then? So when you first set up your account, you'll be hit with a £15 shop setup fee. This is the only proper upfront cost to starting an Etsy shop, and it's well worth the money. It used to be free in the past, but it is now £15. The only other upfront cost that you will pay using Etsy is a 20-cent listing fee. This is every time you post a poster or new product, you will get charged 20 cents. So when you first start, link your bank account, have a bit of cash in there to pay just for your initial products that you list, and then you'll find that as soon as you start getting sales, the money from your sales will pay for these listing fees and all the other fees that you get and things like that. As with any online platform, there is of course also transaction fees, so Etsy can generate money to provide the marketplace. However, these come out of the revenue that you receive for your sales, so you will never notice it really leave your account, to be honest. Etsy just takes it out of your money and then pays you a bit less. There are a few different kind of fees that Etsy can charge, like transaction fees, processing fees, and also some extra ones like you can see here. As you can see here, this shop did a revenue of £34,700 and ended up paying just under £6,000 in fees. So that is about 16%, and this is what you can normally expect all of your fees on Etsy to work out to. Not too bad. to be honest. Etsy needs to charge to provide the service. So when it comes to your profit, you can expect to lose about 15% in fees and stuff. But I never think about it, to be honest, because it comes out of the money that Etsy like holds for you on their platform. You never see it and get it taken away. So it's just an operating expense really. So don't let the fees and stuff bog you down. It's very normal to end up paying 10-15% on any platform. And as you can see, the profit potential is clearly there. Another great thing about Etsy is that you are actually protected for a lot of sales. If anything ever goes wrong, for example, and a customer is giving you a really hard time, but it is not your fault whatsoever, Etsy will often step in and refund the customer without you losing any money. This is on sales up to $250, and it's, for instance, sometimes you get a customer where you will literally give them their tracking number, it will say delivered, the customer will be like, no, I've not received it, even though they clearly have, and demand a refund. This is not your responsibility to refund. Let them open the case with Etsy, and Etsy will, in 99.99999% of cases, take your side, issue a refund to the buyer just to keep them happy, but you will not lose any money. So that's another great reason to sell on Etsy. They are actually very good at things like this and do often take their sellers' sides. So before actually making an Etsy account, I would come up with a shop name, and this isn't too important in terms of pulling in sales, I would say. However, I would put a decent amount of time and thought into it because you want to be happy with it, you don't want to regret it further down the line, and at the end of the day, it's what your branding will be based around, and you know, this shop is your baby, so you want to call it something that you are a fan of. If you take a look at what other people call their shops, you'll clearly work out that it doesn't really matter too much. A lot of them are random words and things of the like, but again, as long as you like what it sounds like, then that works well. I would say maybe at the start, don't pick a name that kind of boxes you into one niche too much, just in case you change your mind around what you're selling further down the line. For example, if you create an Etsy account called Amazing Food Posters, and then a week later you're like, I don't really want to sell posters of food anymore, then you're a bit trapped. So maybe come up with something a bit more generic just as you start out to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. I would recommend checking that the name is available before you create your shop. You can literally search Etsy shop name checker, and then there'll be websites like that to verify it for you. And then what I would do is first create a Gmail account under this shop brand name. This is because then you don't muddle in your Etsy stuff with your personal email. You can keep it all separate and nice and organized, and then you can actually create an Etsy account by signing in with Gmail once you've done that, which I quite like to do just to keep them linked together, but do whatever works for you. So you first need to create a regular, just customer Etsy account, and then once you've done that and signed up, if you click at the top, there will be an option saying sell on Etsy. This is when you then click through to actually make a Etsy sellers account, which is obviously where your shop will be based. It's very nice and easy. I won't hold your hand through this process. Literally just answer their questions honestly and make sure you do it in your identity, and Bob's your uncle. It's really easy as that. The only question you might be unsure about when signing up is whether to be a sole trader or a private limited company. I think for 99% of you watching this video, you will want to register as a sole trader. This is just basically meaning you're self-employed. So obviously now you are going to be making money online. You will eventually have to pay taxes. This normally comes in April at the end of the tax year, but you do have a bit of, you know, a year or two wiggle room after setting up. Basically, a sole trader, it's a lot easier for account purposes. It just means that you declare your revenue and then what you expended out at the end of the tax year. You can also set up as a private limited company. This does involve more setup. You actually have to create a company with the UK government and that kind of thing. Do your own research on this, just figure out what works best for you. But I would say in 99% of cases, you would probably be better off being a sole trader for something like this. But at the end of the day, it is your decision. And once you do choose this, there is no way to change it after setting up your Etsy account. So just have a quick look online, pick what is best for you. I can't advise based on everyone's personal situation. So just have a look for yourselves. So there's a few things before actually uploading products that I think you should get nailed down with your Etsy shop. The main ones are your banner and your logo. Now, you are now officially a graphic designer if you watched the last video, so this should not be too much of a challenge, and if anything, it's a good way to practice your design. I would not overcomplicate these, especially the logo. It's actually really not too important. To be honest, if you want to, pick a nice color, just write out your shop name in text, and that's kind of all you need to do. I would say your banner is actually more important because this takes up more of your customer's eye space when they click onto your shop, and you can customize this in any way you want. What I personally do on my shops is showcase 3 to 5 posters of different kind of prints that I have on my shop, just to give a wide overview of what I kind of sell. And then I like to list out information like the important stuff, like worldwide quick shipping, free shipping worldwide, premium poster paper, just some really quick bullet point things that a customer will scan through and be like, okay, yeah, this all sounds good, 5-star guarantee, things like that. Just communicate the main benefits of your shop, which if you are using PrintShrimp will be free worldwide shipping and fast domestic worldwide shipping especially, and also really high quality poster paper. So use this as an opportunity to just communicate these things to your customer and just instantly tick some boxes and reassure them throughout buying a product from your shop. There are also some other things you can fill out, which is definitely less important, but honestly my main tip is just to maximize everything that Etsy gives you the option to customize. You really might as well fill it up as much as possible. One of these things is announcement. This is where you can announce things like any sales that you run, you can offer discounts when people buy multiple posters, so you can mention that there. This is also good for times like Christmas, when you need to communicate to customers like your last guaranteed Christmas delivery dates and things like that. Just communicate important information in the announcements bit. There's also the option to fill out an about section. Here, I would genuinely just tell your honest story. Just be like, I'm a passionate designer. Well, this might not be your honest story, but, sell a bit of a dream about who you are, that you're a very passionate designer and that you really take great pride in selling your art to people and seeing them in people's homes is amazing. So sell some emotion, use every field that Etsy gives you just to fill these things out. They just really tie your shop together, give it a bit of a, finishing touch, and some customers do look through all of this information, so it's a great opportunity to really convince them on the sale. So again, with this, just have a search on Etsy at what other shops are doing, take some inspiration and then apply it to your own. This really is the key with Etsy. Just inspire yourself with other shops, because especially the bigger ones, because they clearly know what they're doing if they're raking in a lot of sales, and again, there's no reason why it can't be you within enough time. Now you've actually got your Etsy account set up, there are some important things you need to know about like safeguarding and just making sure your account is very healthy. So the first thing I would recommend is not spamming uploading listings at the start. Etsy have really cracked down on banning people from selling on their platform recently for some reason. I don't know why they don't want customers, but one thing you can do is just not upload too many products at the start. I think Etsy automatically flags it as suspicious if you create a brand new account and then suddenly upload 100 posters in like a couple days out of nowhere. So I would say take it slow for the first week or two. Upload maybe 5 products a day for the first few days, then you can push it to 10, that kind of thing. Because if you already have a bank of products, I know it's very tempting just to get them uploaded as quickly as possible, but I would say slow it down a bit and just try and not flag any suspicious behavior. Also, just make sure you don't copy other people's listings. As I said at the start, it's very good to inspire, but do not copy, because these people could flag you and then you can get these listings taken down, and you only get so many strikes on your account before you will get banned. So just, don't copy other people. Hopefully you won't want to do that anyway, because it's not very honest. Just inspire, but don't copy. Additionally, just make it obvious that this is a product that you have made yourselves. Etsy's whole selling point and ethos is that it's all handmade products by the individual. So you need to make it clear that it is something you have created yourself. Obviously, you will not do the whole printing and shipping part of it, but that's fine. That's in accordance with their guidelines. We'll go on to production partners in a second. But I would just add somewhere into your announcement or shop info that, you've been designing for a while and you're really excited to get your products out there that you have made and that kind of thing. Just to kind of tick the box from Etsy's point of view. And also, I think customers like hearing that it is a handmade, homemade, made with love, made with care thing that might help you convert a sale. So I'd add something like that into your shop somewhere. One other thing is to keep your traffic and sales on Etsy, especially at the start. Etsy doesn't mind completely if you link a website in your bio or things like that, but what they do mind is when you are dealing with a customer and then you try and direct them off the website by asking for their email or something like that. This can flag up, as obviously Etsy wants to keep their traffic on Etsy so they can benefit from the transaction fees and stuff. So just be wary of this, especially at the start. Don't go asking for customer emails. Don't be sending loads and loads of links to direct them to buy your posters elsewhere. Keep it all in Etsy and you'll be golden. One other thing you need to do is declare a production partner. Of course, you are doing the designs yourself, so it is your product, but we at PrintShrimp will be doing the printing and shipping and that kind of thing. So you do need to declare that to Etsy. So there's a few things when you set up your first listing which you need to tick. So it'll ask you who made it. You can say I did. What is it? It is a finished product. And when was it made? I always put made to order because again, it's print on demand. It actually doesn't exist until it is ordered. How does your shop produce this item? I like to say it's made from scratch because really it is. The design is made from scratch and then it's just put on paper and that kind of thing. You could argue that there's another box you could tick, but I don't think Etsy cares too much about this. Now, what tools are used to make this item. Here you can see computerized tools or machines. Yes, I always give that a tick because again we are printing, and as you can see here, Etsy asks you to declare if you are using AI, for example Midjourney, DALL-E, anything like that. Now you really should tick this, to be honest. I haven't always on all of my shops, I will be completely upfront, but if you do tick this, then you are covered in case a customer ever complains, oh, this has come and it really looks like it's AI generated. Hopefully, it shouldn't be obvious that your images are AI generated. There are going to be sometimes some details that look a bit off, but try and spot that as you're making your images, and normally people won't be able to tell, but you should tick that just to be completely open and honest and to cover yourself. And now adding production partners, as you see here, PrintShrimp is what you will need to add, because obviously we help you guys print and ship your orders. So just type in the name PrintShrimp, show this production partners names to buyers, feel free to if you want to, and then about production partner, I put something like this: all designs are made by me. We partner with PrintShrimp to help print our posters, ensure the highest possible standard and ensure rapid worldwide shipping. For location, you can go for United Kingdom. And then why are you working with this partner? I don't have the technical ability or equipment to make it entirely by myself. Of course, you guys do not have multiple thousands of pounds worth of printers within your house, so you will need to partner with PrintShrimp to print your orders. Role in the design process, I design everything myself, therefore we're ticking the box for the handmade, homemade kind of Etsy vibe. And partners role in the production process, they make a component, like exactly. You guys do the design, the important bit, we just provide the paper and packaging. So there you go, that is all you need to declare on Etsy with working with PrintShrimp. It's completely by Etsy's rules and terms of service, as long as you fill out this box. So just make sure you do that, and then you're all covered. So this is everything you need to know about actually creating an Etsy account and then making it look pretty. Obviously, the most important part is actually uploading your products. We are going to delve very, very deep into that in the next video, go into all the SEO that you need to really make sure you rank as high as possible on Etsy and maximize your sales. If you want to sell something online, you could have the best product anybody has ever seen. But if your SEO is not correct, no one will see it, so it will not sell. SEO is probably the most important thing when it comes to selling things online. So I'm going to walk you step by step by how you can absolutely maximize your search engine optimization in today's video. So yeah, SEO is search engine optimization, and think of it as what customers need to search for your product to show up. So it's all about jamming in as many keywords as possible, about really feeding the algorithm with the important information that your customers are going to be using. If your SEO is not good, your products will not be visible on Etsy and you will never ever enjoy sales. So take notes throughout this, do as much as you can. This is a very, very important video on how to succeed selling posters on Etsy and online products in general. Before we get into that, the first thing you need to do is be ready to list your products is to place your posters into mock-ups, aka photos of frames. As you can see on Etsy, nobody just displays the picture of their poster. They put it into frames, like digital mock-ups of them, to make their shop look really pretty, to really showcase their products and sell the dream of how they're going to look in your customer's home. So these are obviously very, very important because they show your customer your product. So you want them to look as pretty as possible. As we can look through Etsy here, and as you can see, most people choose a very large frame, which really shows off the image prominently. And that is exactly what I would recommend. You want something that's not too busy to the eye. You want it to look like it's in a realistic situation. And most of all, you want the poster to be big so your customer can see it clearly and can see the whole design. Depending on the device your customer is on, these will either show up as square or slightly rectangular. I will put the listing dimensions somewhere around here for the ideal ones. As you can see now on my computer, all of these are coming up as square, but you do want the first image especially to be slightly rectangular for when people are looking on mobile, because it does vary. But like I said, I will put the pixels/dimensions here for you. So, where do you get these frame mockups from? Well, for those of you that are using Canva, another reason why Canva is very cool is that it does actually offer some. So if you literally come onto Canva, and as you can see here, like I've done, just search poster frame, and there are lots and lots of different mockups of different posters in that kind of situation. And all you need to do is open a template, click into it, and then you can easily swap out the image that they have in there by default with one of your posters. Now, this is slightly time consuming. It's a very manual process and does add a bit of time to the, journey of creating posters, but unfortunately it is very necessary. One thing you can do to save a huge amount of time is by using a tool called bulk mockup, but this is only available with Photoshop. This is actually one of the reasons why I recommend Photoshop so much. But again, if you're just starting out, just put in a bit more of the manual time on Canva, have a practice, get to grips with things if you're scared of investing in something like Photoshop. But for those of you that do have Photoshop, I highly recommend bulk mockup. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's an exceptional tool. I used to spend literally 8 to probably 12 hours a week putting products in frames, and now I click a button and it does all of that amount within 20-30 minutes. It's incredible. Highly recommend checking it out. If you are using Photoshop, you might be wondering where to get your mockups from. You have a few options, to be fair. There are some for free online. I'll put a link to a website around about here and show you that. You can download these completely for free. The way these mockups work is basically a Photoshop document with a smart object. I won't bog you down in the details, but it means that when you download your Photoshop document, you'll have your frame there with an image inside. If you go to the layer tab, double click on that layer, it will open in a new window, and this is then where you place your poster in. Close and save that window and your poster will appear within that document. So you can get these for free online. You can also buy some on Etsy. There's actually some really nice ones for sale for Etsy, normally for around £2 to £5. So these can be worth the investment because, again, these are very important. You want them looking as nice as possible. And also, if you end up subscribing to a design element website like Envato Elements, for example, which I use personally, they will have a load of this stuff on there. So that is how you can get them and how they kind of work if you are using Photoshop. On Etsy, you can fill up to 10 listing squares with images, and then you also get a video slot. I would really recommend filling these up as much as possible. Etsy, whatever it gives you, you should really try and use to maximize your SEO. So a lot of these listing squares will be frames in mockups. Again, it is time consuming to put each poster into multiple mockups, but you really should do it. I would recommend at a minimum 3. If you can do 6, that's awesome, but I understand it does take a lot of time. But if you really want to maximize it, then do as many as possible. Show off your poster in different environments from slightly different angles. As you can see, all the mock-ups frame them kind of differently, so you can really get a good selection and just showcase your product in different rooms of the house to really give your customer like a great idea of what it will look like, you know, depending on where it is in the house and that kind of thing. I would then also recommend using, say, 3 other listing squares to communicate information to your customer. This can be things like just a general overview of your shop, expected shipping times, the fact that you can offer free and fast global shipping with PrintShrimp, stuff like that will help convert the sale. Also, if you run a sale on your Etsy shop, I often recommend running a sale where if you buy 3 or more prints, you get 20% off. You can communicate this in a listing square. I'll throw up some examples around about here of some listing squares I found on Etsy that look good, and also some from my shop in the past. It's just a great way to communicate with your customer and, again, fill up these listing squares, because Etsy really does like it when you fill up especially more than 6. So the more information you can add, the more you can show off your posters in different frames, the better. Maximize is the key to SEO. So now down to the nitty-gritty of SEO and how you can really make your products rank as high as possible on Etsy. So the first thing on each listing will be your title. Here you have 140 characters to fill up as much as possible with, again, key buzzwords. So here is an example of a poster that I am selling. It's a Japanesey themed cat poster with also a bowl of ramen. So in this title, tag and description, I'm going to fill up as many keywords as I can for this. For example, I like to start with just kind of a bit of a title and description of the poster because I think it makes it sound a bit more official and art-like. Other keywords. I have looked at what other people are selling and the kind of things they are describing their posters with. For Japanese art, for example, Japanese vintage is quite big. Retro Japanese is quite big. So things like that is what I'm looking at when creating this listing. So vintage Japanese wall art, for example. I would say in each of your listings, you want to try and get in there poster, print, wall art, because these are the 3 main things that people use to describe posters. So if you can jam them in, matching them with different keywords, and that's awesome. Animal poster, big seller on Etsy, so you might as well tag it like that. Funny animal print, also a big thing, and I would say this poster is relatively humorous because of the cat. Japanese wall art, it's quite a big art style on Etsy, so again, banging in, making sure I've got Japan and Japanese, things like that. cat poster. People love cats. People buy a lot of things related to cats. Japan cat wall art. Again, it's really cramming in as much as possible. That really is the key for titles. You want to use your 140 characters where possible. Like literally just try and fill it as much as possible. You don't have to space it out like I have here. I think it looks really neat and tidy. What a lot of people do is literally just write out keyword after keyword after keyword, because yes, if I got rid of these spaces and dashes, I can maybe add in an extra word or two, but I think it looks quite messy. I think it can actually put off customers as well, so I'd recommend just kind of spacing things out like this, keeping it looking nice and tidy. And again, keyword, keyword, keyword. So like I said, I often look at what other sellers on Etsy are doing and then kind of base my keywords based off that. This is a great strategy and it really does work. Try and describe your poster, think about what you would search if you were trying to find something similar, and then just click on to 5 to 6 other posters. Just really look at what their titles are saying and things like that, and then you can kind of pull together all what you think are the best elements and then put them into your listing. There are other tools out there as well. It's worth having a look at things like eRank. This is a Etsy SEO website where you can put in links to listings, you can search keywords, and it will tell you like the amount of searches it has per month, related keywords that perform well. It's a really, really valuable tool, and if you put the time into SEO doing things like this, it can be a little bit tedious, but you'll be really, really rewarded, because like I said, if your SEO is great, then that is what will direct the customers to you, which is what will bring the sales. eRank has a free plan available as well. There is a paid plan, so if you really do get into it, it might be worth it further down the line. But have a look at what other people are selling, have a look at eRank, and then kind of compare those two sources of information to then put into your titles, descriptions, and tags, because it's really, really valuable and does make the difference. Now moving on to the description. This is not quite as important as title or tags, but it is still a great opportunity to get in as many key and buzzwords as possible. As you can see here, for example, I like to start off by saying something like printed on museum grade 260 GSM gloss poster paper, because it's just an easy way to communicate to your customer the quality of the print. Museum grade, instant buzzword, boom, like yeah, and it is. We're using PrintShrimp. It's very, very high quality paper, so please do communicate that. And now, if I read through this, you can try and see all of the keywords that I've tried to fit in. So we sell only the best: modern, art, poster prints, of course, for your home, bright, colourful, bring life to your walls, mid-century, simplistic. So just try and jam in, honestly, as many themes and as many words that are related to the posters and that kind of thing. One thing, you don't have to customize each description to each poster. So I used to do this on my old shop, and it does make a difference, but if you're trying to save time when uploading, because it does take a while to upload your products, then you can always just create a mega generic description to match to all of your posters. Again, this is if your shop is all of the same theme. If you have very differently themed posters, then you want to tailor those descriptions to that kind of theme. For example, if these were travel posters, I would have in my description things, I would literally mention every continent. I'd mention some big countries. I'll mention the words vacation, relaxing, sunshine, beach, things like that. Just really fill it up with as much key things as possible. Also here, it's a good opportunity to describe like when you ship your orders, so send the next working day, posters well protected during shipping, high quality tubes. Also declare that if anything goes wrong during shipping, we're here to help, and that kind of thing. Orders should arrive in 2 to 4 working days, things like that. Just really communicate that it will be shipped quickly, it will reach the customer quickly, because people order last minute a lot on Etsy, trust me on that. Also, please note all posters arrive unframed. This is a good opportunity to declare that, because obviously on your listing the pictures are in frames, but most posters on Etsy, will arrive unframed, so that's absolutely fine. So please note all posters arrive unframed. If you are then offering a framed option, you can add in, please select whether you want your poster to be framed or unframed. You can build that into your listing, that's no problem at all. And then here again, just some more keywords really. Inspired exhibition posters, bedroom, kitchen, hallway, bathroom, office, just adding in every room of the house. So if someone searched office poster, then for example, it's more likely to show up that way. Vibrant prints, things like that. I've also listed out these sizes that I offer here. Just again, it's just adding them in as an extra keyword, just in case anybody explicitly searches 12 by 18 inch poster of a cat. It's just an extra little tick. And there we go. Also, please drop me a message if you have any questions. Customer service is also very, very key on Etsy, so the more you can drill that down, the better. Okay, now on to what I think is the most important part of SEO, and this is your listing tags. These are really the big one that Etsy directs customers to your listings from. You get 13 of them, and we really want to maximize these as much as possible. So going back to the listing I was using as an example earlier, these are kind of what I think customers will be searching to come across a picture like mine. We have things like exhibition poster. This is like a big keyword for art and that kind of thing. Gift for art lover. I think it's good to get a tag in for gift because Etsy is a big shopping platform for gifts and that kind of thing. So you might as well tick that off with that kind of thing. Again, if it's a poster for like travel or something like that, it's a lot easier because it's more obvious. It's like gift for traveler or things like that. Gallery wall art, again, this is like a kind of generic art poster, so things like that are great to tick off, that kind of thing. Then Japanese wall art, vintage Japanese art. As you can see here as well in the prints, I've got some tags with wall art, I've got some tags with print, I've got some tags with poster. I think this is really important as different customers will use these different words. There's ramen in the poster, so ramen print, ramen wall art. There's cats, cat poster, cat wall art, Japanese cat art. Again, tools like eRank are very good for this, and there is a way to see the kind of tags that other sellers are using. So if you go to a seller's shop, scroll all the way down to their listing, it will come up with more related searches, and it will show in little circles the kind of tags that they are using. So again, go through 5 to 10 similar listings, look at the kind of tags they are using, and then inspire yourself from that. It's really, especially the bigger shops, use them. They're clearly succeeding. They clearly have good SEO, so do similar to them and then you will succeed. So just to hammer this all home, I'm going to go through a different listing, which is a travel poster, and show you the difference as to how it works. So title, for example, this is a poster of Madrid in Spain. Madrid travel print, Spain wall art, Madrid art, travel wall art, vacation poster, Spain travel art, gift for traveler, Spain poster. As you can see, there's 2 main components of this listing. It's Madrid and Spain. So I'm getting them in as much as possible. And then the general travel and holiday theme, cramming that in as well. So that's the title. Description, also pretty similar. Modern, bright, remember favorite holiday, vacation or travels, illustrations, art, whether you are a beach lover, mountain climber, cultures. These prints will be purpose different to bedroom, office, lounge, hallway. As you can see, I've kept this generic between different travel prints, so I don't have to change it for each listing. Again, you definitely can change it for each, I'm just lazy. But again, tailor it, make it as full of information as possible. Europe, USA, South America, Africa, Asia, Australia, etc, etc. And again, all the shipping information and sizes. And if we go down to tags on this listing, travel print, travel poster, travel wall art, gift for traveler, Madrid poster, Madrid print, Madrid wall art, Spain poster, Spain print, Spain wall art, Spain travel art, Madrid, Spain. You can see it's really just cramming in as much as possible related to the listing. Again, check what others are doing, check eRank, things like that, maximize this. This is what you want to spend the most time in, because if you get this correct, you're instantly going to be a lot higher in the rankings and rake in a lot more sales. So there are other fields that you need to fill out when listing a product, and I'm going to run through all of them now. Bear in mind, you will not need to start every product from scratch. When you're listing listings, you can copy over from the previous one. So really, you'll only need to do a lot of these fields once. So if it feels like a lot, don't worry, just get it right for your first listing and it will copy across everything else. So for example, for quantity, you can put whatever amount you want here. I normally put it around 99 to 100. I think Etsy might find it a bit weird if you have 1,000 of every single product. But again, it is print on demand, so in theory, we do have an unlimited amount. But I just put 100. It will tick down over time and that doesn't really matter. Also, things like this, category. So it is a physical item. We did this before in the last section with the production partner and things like that. So that's all sorted. Category, I do wall decor, home and living, home decor, wall decor. So literally, if you just search print, for example, this then pops up as an option. It pops up as wall decor, so you can just select that. All of these attributes I don't really bother with. I don't think they're too important, because as well, you don't want to box your thing in too much. You want it to come up when people search different things. None of these particularly apply too much to wall art or posters anyway, so I personally am happy leaving these blank. Primary color and secondary color. For a print like this one, this is the Madrid travel print. It doesn't really have a primary color. Again, I don't want to box it in. If you have a quote poster, for example, on a red background or a black background, then there is validity in putting the primary color, because people might actually be searching for black quote poster. But again, if it's more general mix of colors, I wouldn't advise to box yourself in with that. Width and height you can leave here, as we will set that up in the pricing section, which I'll go through in a second. Another thing, materials. materials, I just, again, poster, paper, semi-gloss, gloss, things like that. Depending on what poster type you want to print on, you can do either gloss, satin, or matte with PrintShrimp, and I will explain the difference between those later. I do gloss, so I put in semi-gloss and gloss. These are the main other little fields that you need to worry about. The next important thing is your pricing and your shipping profile, which I will go through now. So as explained before, posters come in a whole range of different shapes and sizes, and you want to sell as many as possible to maximize your listing. Now, of course, as these posters are different sizes and they get sent differently, the prices between them vary a lot, and therefore you need to price them accordingly. So we set up our recommended pricing. Again, you can price your products however you want. When you first start out, you might want to lower them, so you're lower than the general market rate on Etsy, but these are basically what I recommend because they are prices in line with the market rate. So when you first start selling your posters, you need to set up variations. I would recommend going for a custom variation and just calling it size. This keeps things nice and easy, as you can then just type out each size easily here. So I'm going to show this all on the screen just so you have it. I will also put this all in the description so you can actually just copy and paste this over. I like to start with the A sizes, going up from smallest to largest. You can also offer A0. I haven't on this shop, but there's definitely validity to doing that. So I list out the A's and then also list all of the American sizes in order. I will again put this all in a nice table so you can see it clearly, but these are the major sizes. And then when it comes to pricing them, once you set up these variations, it will then pop up in a table like this, and this is where you can put your prices in. So these are our recommended prices. Again, on the very low end, the minimum you'll be making is £6 for A5, and as we go up to the larger sizes like 24 by 36, you see I'm selling for £40 and it costs £12 through PrintShrimp. So it's a hell of a lot of profit. Again, you can price this higher. Many people do sell larger prints for even hundreds of pounds. You need to work out what you prefer. Would you prefer more sales for less profit, or would you prefer less sales but more profit? There's validity to both strategies, and again, this is just our recommendation, so it's kind of up to you what you do here. These prices have come from years of experimentation from my end. I used to sell my posters for a lot cheaper, but first of all, over time, the general price of posters has gone up on Etsy, and second of all, these are very much in line with the going rate, and they're actually kind of on the medium to low end. So I think that encourages a higher quantity of orders, because there's a lot of people selling similar prints on Etsy, right? So if you are a little bit cheaper than a lot of your competitors, then that is more likely to convert the sale. But these are very much in range with the going rate. So I do recommend these prices, but please experiment, do it whatever feels right for you. There's validity to a lot of different strategies. This is just our recommendation to ensure you have healthy profits with every sale. So now for shipping profiles. As mentioned previously, one of the biggest benefits of print on demand is that you can print your orders in your buyer's domestic home country and then ship to them domestically. This means you don't have to charge international postage for a lot of countries and can get your product to your customer really quickly, which, trust me, gives you such an edge above a lot of sellers that are just doing it themselves from England and then shipping internationally. So we need to set up your shipping profiles to reflect that. For your profile name, that doesn't matter, this is just for your records, but origin postcode, please feel free to use PrintShrimp's postcode, which is this here. You can just add that in yourself. Processing time. This is how long it will take you to ship your order. I do mine as 1 day and I turn off the weekends. This again is up to you. This does mean I have to log in every single day, Monday to Friday, and send out orders, which, I recommend because a lot of customers really want their posters to be with them as quickly as possible. So the quicker your processing time is, I think the more likely you are to get sales. But if you want to give yourself a bit of breathing room, if you don't know if you'll be able to commit to sending orders every single day, then you can always up this a little bit to 1 to 2 days or 2 to 3 days. Do whatever works for you here. I personally like 1 day processing time, but completely your choice. So with the delivery profiles then, so United Kingdom, we are going to be sending with Royal Mail. 2 to 3 business days is standard, and free delivery, because again, with PrintShrimp, all of our shipping costs are in our prices. There's no hidden fees or extras or things like that. So you can offer free delivery worldwide, which is absolutely amazing. Same with Australia. One thing to note with Etsy, because I'm assuming that you will have created your Etsy account in England. If you have done it in America, that's no problem. It's just the same. But the way Etsy works, if your shop is in the UK, it will only allow you to select delivery options from the UK. For example, in Australia, we send our posters with AusPost, but that is not an option for us to select on Etsy. As you can see here, it just doesn't come up. All we've got is Royal Mail, Every, DPD, things like that. So what I like to do is pick the option that is closest to the amount of time it will actually take to arrive. So here, FedEx International, 2 to 4 business days. That's correct for AusPost, so that's what I recommend selecting. And then when you actually get a sale and add in your tracking, you can then manually type in the mail service that you actually use. So when you do sell to Australia and add in the tracking, you can then type in Oz Post. So it is communicated to the customer what delivery service is actually used. Again, free delivery for all of these countries. I've done the same in the US. I can't select UPS here, so I've just done FedEx International because, again, 2 to 4 business days is normally pretty accurate, and free delivery. Now, as you can see, I have selected free delivery for the US. If you look at our price list, you will see that the US prices are often a little bit larger than the UK. That is because printing and shipping in the US just is more expensive. There's no way of getting around it. The UK just has a much more efficient and cheaper postage system and that kind of thing. So what you can do to get around this and still offer free delivery to the US without losing out on your profit margin is by setting up global and domestic pricing. So once you set that up, when you set your prices, you then have 2 fields. You can see price in the UK and price everywhere else. This you can then make £2 to £3 higher than your UK prices, whatever you would like, and still offer the free shipping. So yes, you technically are charging shipping, but you're not, because it comes across to the customer as free delivery, which is a huge tick. Customers love free delivery, even if it's in the pricing, and they will never see what your UK pricing is. It will only show them the rest of the world pricing. So to them, it's standard rate. Again, prints in the US and rest of the world are often more expensive because a lot of sellers do this because it just makes sense. So I'd recommend setting up global and domestic pricing like this, adding on that £2 to £3 cost to make up the difference between the US printing price and the UK printing price, and also some other locations for the rest of the world as well. And then you're sorted. So for the rest of the world shipping as well, as you can see here, there are some countries that we send internationally to. In that case, your cost on PrintShrimp is £8.49 flat rate to anywhere in the world. Therefore, I set my shipping price as £6 because, again, I've set my prices £2 higher than the UK. So you're, again, making up that margin and offering, even to the rest of the world where they're used to paying international postage, you're still offering a cheaper rate than most because it is absorbed within your pricing. So that's what I recommend for shipping profiles. Again, free delivery, really big seller, and with PrintShrimp, it's quick shipping worldwide, which is just a huge sell and really converts a lot of sales. Another thing I would recommend setting up is SKUs. These are stock keeping units, which might sound a bit complicated, but it's really not. It's just what you call your poster, and I would recommend matching this up to whatever you save your file as on your computer. This just keeps things very nice and organized and makes your life a lot easier. I used to not bother with these, so I would save my posters on my computer as whatever, but then when I got an order, I would have to click into what poster was sold and then try and remember what I called it on my computer and try to find it, which wasted a lot of time and was a bit messy. So literally, I would recommend whatever you save your poster as on your computer, just put that as your SKU in Etsy. For example, my Madrid poster is called Madrid to CL. That's just what I use. So then my SKU on Etsy is Madrid to CL for that. And then with the different sizes, then you need an identifier for what that size is, because for example on your computer, if you then resize a poster to be 8 by 10 inches, once you've done that, you need to know, okay, I've done that, and 8 by 10 for example is scalable with 16 by 20. So I also have the same SKU for 8 by 10 and 16 by 20, because then I know, okay, I've resized it for 8 by 10. If I then get a sale for the same poster at 16 by 20, I don't need to redo that because I've already done it in the correct format, so I can use that for both. So these are the kind of numbers that I add on the end, so I know what's what and what I've already done. Again, you can customize this to yourself. I will have put a table on here explaining the ratios of all the sizes and that kind of thing, just to make it nice and obvious for you. But SKUs make your life a lot easier, keep your computer organized, and then when you upload to PrintShrimp as well, your posters, you can just, again, put your SKU as your file name. So once again, it's all very nice and organized, very, very easy. Just a really nice thing you can do to make your life easy, and it doesn't take long to add these all in every time you create a listing. So I do recommend doing that just to keep track of everything. So one thing I mentioned earlier is that when you are listing products, you don't have to create every listing from scratch. Seriously, do not do that. You will waste a hell of a lot of time. It's very easy on Etsy to copy over listings, and this is especially true if they are a similar category already. So for example, if you have a shop of travel products, it is very easy just to click into the setting wheel, copy, and then basically there's only 3 or 4 fields that you actually need to change per poster. It's things like the title. If you had a Spain poster and now you're creating one of France, just swap out the important things like the name of the place, the country, things like that. quickly swap out the images. You can leave your other information listing squares in place. If you are changing the description, then quickly change that. And other than that, it's basically just the SKU and the tags. And again, make sure they are specific to each listing. But other than that, everything like your shipping profiles, your pricing, all the other fields that we did will stay the exact same. So it saves a hell of a lot of time. You do not need to waste time creating each listing from scratch. Etsy really makes it easy. And I think you'll find if you sit in bed, watch some Netflix with your laptop, you can bang out and get a load of listings uploaded in one go. Can be a bit of a slog, but trust me, it's worth it. The more listings you have, the more sales you will get. So highly recommend that. And yeah, don't waste time creating every listing from scratch. Even if you are uploading a very different type of poster, it's a lot easier just to copy it over and then just basically delete out the title, delete out all the tags, and just do it kind of fresh, but leaving all the other fields in place so you don't need to waste your time. Another thing you'll see a lot of sellers do on Etsy is adding bundles. This is often sets of 3 prints or sets of 2 prints, and this is a great way of getting more sales because with just one listing, you can at a time technically sell 3 posters. So I highly recommend doing this. It's very easy to set up, just copy over a normal listing. The only other thing you need to change is the mock-up that you place them in. Again, there's loads of mock-ups on Canva for free posters. There's loads available on Photoshop if you use bulk mock-up and that kind of thing. And yeah, I highly recommend doing this. The only thing you really need to change is make it clear that it is a set of 3 and then change your pricing. So this will depend on how you want to price it. For example, in my shop, I offer a sale where if customers buy more than 3 posters, they get 20% off. So on my bundle listings, I've already priced this in. I've essentially times the price of 3 of my posters by 3 and then knocked off 20% and set it roughly like that. So again, great way of just getting technically more money from one listing. People like to buy in sets. So if you have posters that look good together, I would, once you've uploaded a load, think about which ones you compare together, and then you can actually create a section on your shop of sets of 3 and make sure in the tags and things like that, you also have a tag for set of 3 posters and things like that, because people do search for this. A lot of people just would rather buy 3 posters in one go and, you know, fill up their wall and that kind of thing. So that's something I definitely recommend doing. I would say focus on your individual listings at first, and then once you have a big collection, you can then add bundles and things of the like. There's also no limit. You can do sets of 10, you can do sets of 5, whatever you like. Just make sure you price it accordingly and make it clear to your customer that this is a bundle and they will be receiving multiple prints. So that is everything you need to know about maximizing your SEO when selling posters on Etsy. As I said before, this is probably the most important video you will ever watch when you are selling posters. So please take your time with us, get it as good as you can, because good SEO means success and sales. Do not rush. The first listings that you do will take you a bit longer, but then the success of the rest of your listings will follow in their footsteps. Thank you very much for watching. Please check out our school community where you can join and ask questions and learn from others doing the similar poster journey as you. Print on demand means completely passive income, right? Almost, but not quite. This is what a lot of people say online. It's completely passive. You'll never have to log into your shops to look at it. Not true on Etsy. There are some day-to-day things that you should be doing in order to maximize your sales, and in this video we will run through them. Selling posters is very close to passive. It's pretty much as easy as a job can get. However, to maximize your sales, you do need to be logging in every day, and there are things you can be doing, such as responding to customers, advertising, things like that. So we'll go through all of that now in this video. First of all, let's talk about advertising. I know you might be like, oh my god, advertising, that means money, but trust me, advertising through Etsy is brilliant. I highly recommend it, and it's why I think Etsy is such a good platform to sell posters on. So why are Etsy ads so great? There's quite a few reasons. Number one, they're very easy. You don't need to do any setting up or anything like that. You literally just give Etsy an amount of money every day and they will push your posters to the top of search rankings for you. There's no messing around with target audiences or anything like that. As the adverts are based on your SEO, then it does normally push them to the right customers. So they are very easy to get going with. You need no knowledge as compared to running Facebook ads and things like that. Very beginner friendly, and they do work. They work so well because Etsy is a marketplace where people are already coming to buy stuff. So all you are doing when paying Etsy to advertise is literally pushing your products towards the top of the page. Because it's based on your SEO, your posters are already getting shown to customers that are likely to convert their sale. These Etsy ads just push you up. Also, there is a huge snowball effect, which is another reason why I love them so much. The more you advertise your products, the more sales you will get. The more sales you get, the more Etsy organically boosts your listing as well. So over time, it snowballs and snowballs and snowballs, and you will find that often posters within enough time are naturally ranking at the top of searchings as well, which is amazing because it means that they are one of the first that customers see when they log on to Etsy. Etsy ads really do work. They are also great because other than maybe at the very start, you will never really be out of pocket for Etsy ads. The way it works is Etsy will always hold a certain amount of your sales for a certain amount of time. The money that you spend on ads just comes out of your Etsy account. So it's not like you see money hit your bank account and then get it taken away. It's not like you have to load into money upfront to Etsy. When you are getting consistent sales, you will never even notice the advertising money coming out of your account. You will just get paid slightly less. And trust me, it's a worthy expenditure because a lot of your sales will come from advertising on Etsy. So you might be wondering how much you should advertise on Etsy. What should your daily budget be? As that's how it works. You allocate Etsy a certain amount of funds and then they will use that every day to push out your products. There are a couple different strategies here. You can start on the lower end, for example, $3 to $5 a day. This is a very safe strategy. It may take a bit more patience and a bit more time to start seeing consistent results. But the beauty of this strategy is, especially with a new account, you literally only need to make one sale a day to make your money back that you've spent on ads. You're then in profit if you use $3 to $5 a day because your profit from a sale will always be more than that. Now, the other strategy is for you more risk-prone people. This is setting a larger budget and paying more to advertise. You can do, the limit is $1,000 a day. That's mental, unless you're a huge shop, so do not start with any amount like that. But if you really want to try and get your shop really boosted at the start, $20 a day, $50 a day. I sometimes go up to $100 a day during the Christmas period where things are a lot more busy. This is obviously more risky, and this is where you may have to actually pay some of the money up front and actually have it in your bank account linked to Etsy. Because at the start, especially when you start a campaign, you might not instantly match the $100 a day in sales because advertising takes time for the algorithm to learn about your products. The SEO takes time to rank. So that's another key thing with adverts. Give it some time. Don't start a campaign, not get a sale for 1 or 2 days and then switch it off because Etsy needs to learn where to place your posters, who to advertise them to, that kind of thing. So that's your main two strategies. You can keep it safe at the start, which to be honest, I kind of recommend more. And then over time, you can maybe increase it as your products are more settled in and that kind of thing. Etsy, when you first start advertising, will ask you what your advertising goal is. And Etsy doesn't really make it clear what the difference between these kind of things are. But what I've had most success with a new shop is starting out with maximize my exposure to help compete against similar shops. I think at the start, this more evenly distributes your budget among all of your posters and it helps them kind of see the spotlight, and then Etsy can learn, okay, are customers converting with this listing? Is this a good one to promote? And kind of helps learn that way. I would say a bit further down the line, what I find helps is then take my sales up a notch because this then focuses on your listings that are actually performing the best and therefore spends more to show them because it knows that customers are more likely to convert on these listings. I don't think there is a huge difference between these campaigns. I'm not sure the inner workings of Etsy, they don't make it public knowledge, but that's what I would recommend starting with, maximize my exposure, and then potentially when your sales are increasing and you're doing a lot better, then you can try out take my sales up a notch. Again, feel free to experiment with some of the other ones as well. These are just the main two that I normally start with. I would also advise being wary of turning your advertising campaign off. Don't get me wrong, if it's not working at all, if you're literally losing money every day, then yes, do switch it off and use that time to take a look at your products because to be honest, if you aren't benefiting from Etsy ads, something is either wrong with your posters or wrong with your SEO because they do work. I'll show you some statistics from some previous shops. Often the revenue from what you spend on ads is over 3 times. It doesn't also track all of your sales because essentially sometimes an advert will bring a customer to your shop. They will then save your shop, come back and buy a product that looks organic, but it actually was originally from the advertising, if that makes sense. So Etsy adverts do work. If you're not seeing success, I'm sorry, it's either your product or your SEO, or you don't have enough listed. It's very important to try and get as many posters listed as possible on Etsy. So if you do have a campaign that is going well, I would be wary about turning it off, purely because it does then take time to get back to where it was. So before making any rash decisions, just be a bit careful about that. I recommend leaving campaigns running, to be honest, because you can't really lose with Etsy ads as long as your products are good. One other thing you can do is create some sales and discounts. discounts. I really recommend this as well. Essentially, when you start a shop, Etsy recommends some for you to turn on, and I always agree with these and literally click yes. The main ones are reminding buyers to check out, so items left in a basket. Etsy recommends that you then send them a 10% off coupon, which I always turn on. It definitely works for some customers that will add it to a basket, maybe change their mind. You losing 10% on a sale and making sure it converts is worth it. You know, it's still a lot of profit, so it's worth losing that 10% just to guarantee the sale. Etsy also sends all of these emails automatically, so you don't need to do anything, it just happens. Another thing is a thank you discount, so customers who buy from your shop will then be sent an email for 10% off a future order, and this does work. I get this a lot on my shops. You can see if a buyer has shopped from you before because they have a little star next to their name. I really think this helps bring people back, because if they like your poster, which 99% of the time I'm sure they will, you might as well entice them to come and buy more and fill up your shop. Also, another one that they recommend is when a customer favorites one of your items, they will then also send them a 10% off discount code. Again, it's just extra, repetition and driving it home, just really helping to convert the sale. So I recommend all of these. The 10% that you lose is, it's better to get a sale and lose 10% than not get a sale at all. So I think you have nothing to lose. The other thing I would recommend is encouraging bigger orders. Etsy allows you to do this quite nicely. So if you go into the sales and discounts tab, you can then select where if a customer orders, this is how I do it, you can customize it to your liking. I do, if they order 3 or more items, they receive 20% off. This is then shown very clearly all over your shop, so the customer knows, I can save a bit of money here if I buy multiple posters, because again, it's better to sell 3 posters and lose 20% than potentially only sell 1. There's more money in that, and it boosts your number of sales overall, and then also helps 3 posters increase up the rankings and rank better as opposed to just 1. So I highly recommend turning on all of these. Don't be afraid to lose a bit of potential profit to make actual profit. Do you know what I mean? You'll never be out of pocket for running these sales. So highly recommend turning these all on. Again, Etsy makes it very, very easy, and really there's no reason not to do things like this. Another thing to think about, maybe you do want to just run a general sale and just discount all of your posters 10 to 20%. This can be a good thing at the start. Like I said earlier, a good strategy is to lower your prices at the start. Rather than building this into your actual listings and then having to change it further down the line, go with the prices I've set and run a 10 or 20% off sale, just to give yourselves a bit of a boost, because it does show up to the customer like, limited time sale, so a customer might be like, I do like this poster, it won't be on sale soon, I might as well buy it now. It really does work. So I can recommend that. Also, times like Black Friday, Christmas, it's good to be aware of times of the year like this, because a lot of other Etsy sellers will be running sales, so you don't want to lose out on potential sales by not being as competitive as your competitors during times like this. So be aware of things like that. Feel free to run a sale whenever. Again, as long as you're not losing money, your order volume will increase with a sale, so it can be really worthwhile, and Etsy makes it very easy. So the only day-to-day you really need to worry about with your Etsy shop is sending orders and replying to customer messages. Sending orders is very, very easy with PrintShrimp, and I'm going to go really into detail about using PrintShrimp and why it's the best choice in another video. The only thing you need to be aware of is adding in your tracking on Etsy. So complete your order when you send it to PrintShrimp without tracking, and then go back and add your tracking afterwards. Don't be afraid of doing this. You don't need to initially dispatch it with tracking. It's industry standard to get your tracking 2 to 3 working days after placing an order. But here at PrintShrimp, we try and either get it to you the same working day or within 1 working day, very, very maximum 2. But we try and get your tracking to you as quick as possible. But as long as you go back to the order and add it in afterwards, it is absolutely fine by Etsy's book. They do count it as being dispatched with tracking, and they will notify the customer. So all you need to do, once you've completed an order and you then have your tracking, go back to the order, click add a package, and then add in your tracking there. The only other thing you really need to do on a daily basis is replying to customer messages. To be honest, most of these are easy questions and you can reply with common sense. But if you do get stuck and you're not sure how to answer any queries, then our school community is perfect for this. It is a community of people selling posters on a similar journey to yourself. So just ask any questions you have in there and we will get answered, or other members of the community will answer for it. But most of the time it is common sense, and a lot of the time it's just people following up on their tracking and things like that. So I'm sure you'll be fine with dealing with customer messages, but anything you are unsure of, just ask in our school community. The one thing you should be really aiming for from your shop is a Etsy star seller. This is a really great thing and it's quite achievable, but hitting this gives you a little badge on your shop, and Etsy also prioritizes promoting your shop over others. So you really need to be trying hitting this, and through using PrintShrimp we make it very easy as we have an extremely high success and satisfaction rate. So as you can see here, the factors that Etsy takes into account for Etsy star seller are on-time dispatch and tracking. So this means whatever you set your processing time as, just make sure you dispatch your orders within that time frame. If, for example, there's an issue with a customer and they want to change something to their order or do like a custom thing and you need a bit longer, you can actually modify the dispatch by date within Etsy to make sure you're still technically dispatching it on time. Just make sure you communicate this to the customer, so that you should be hitting, 95 to 100% of the time. There's also average review rating. As long as this is above 4.8, then you're eligible for star seller. Once again, most of the time you will be getting 5-star reviews. You do occasionally get a difficult customer, but I often find just talk to them, just try and resolve whatever issue has happened, and oftentimes you can convince them to change their review. The other thing is case rates. So if people open a case against you on Etsy, a lot of the time this won't really happen. You can normally resolve issues with the customer just on a case-by-case basis. Again, Etsy does have a seller support program where they will help you out with cases and things like that. So no more than 3 cases within a month normally is a good level to be at, which I normally hit, so I think you'll be fine with that. The other thing that is the most active from you is message response rate. So they want you to reply to 95% of first messages from a customer within 24 hours. So this is really why you should be logging onto your shops every day. You can set your processing time to not include weekends. However, unfortunately, Etsy does account weekends within the message response rate. So really, to be getting a star seller and to maximize your shop, you should be logging on every day and responding to messages. You can, however, get an Etsy app on your phone and reply to messages on the go. This is what I would really recommend, and it makes it very easy to then log on every day and respond to messages. So to be getting the star seller, really reply as soon as you can to your customers' first outreach messages. If you've already spoken to them, it then doesn't count messages past that. So if you then have a conversation with a customer where they're trying to organize a custom order, for example, and you say, okay, give me a few days, you then don't need to go back to their reply within 24 hours. It's just the first initial message. But really, try as hard as you can to hit star seller. So I do recommend getting the app on your phone and keeping up to date that way, because star seller, it really builds trust in your shop. Etsy prioritizes your shop more and pushes it out more, and if your standards do drop, they will actually limit how often your posters show in search results. So annoyingly, it does kind of mean on the weekends, yes, it would be ideal to give yourself a full Saturday and Sunday off, but with the app on your phone, it's not a problem at all. Quick replies, really worth it, trust me, because I guarantee you'll be addicted to running your Etsy shop anyway as soon as things get going, because seeing those sales notifications come through, seeing customer messages come through, it's like a little dopamine hit every time. So try as you can to hit star seller to really succeed. You can actually set an automated message replier, which you can switch on weekends. You can do this through Etsy, and if a customer messages you on the weekend and you really want to have the weekend off, you can just set a custom message, say, hi, my working hours are XY, I don't work on XY days, and that kind of thing. So that can help manage customer expectations and response time as well. Through teaching people how to sell posters, we've had a lot of people set up successful shops. And the question we then always get asked is, okay, great, can I set up another shop? And yes, you can. So really perfect your first shop before you think about doing this. It is time consuming to build and run a shop, so make sure you can also deal with it. But you can then create further shops within your same identity. Etsy's statement on this is that they need to be different enough from your original shop. You can have multiple shops all selling posters. I would just recommend to be slightly different themes. For example, if your first poster shop you ended up selling travel prints, maybe for your second shop do something more art focused or more general home decor or things like that. But you can very easily within your identity set up multiple shops, and I do recommend doing this. Once you have it down, once you know what you're doing and you can make posters quickly into a high standard and you have a first shop running well, why not? It's more sales, it's more revenue and that kind of thing. And like I said in one of the first videos, it can be good to have your shops tailored to a certain niche. So only when you're ready, have a think about setting up a second shop. It's very easy to do. You just need to log in from different tabs basically, because you can't be signed into two at the same time. But very easy to do, and yeah, I do recommend. I have multiple shops running that I work on, and it's more money. So think about that as well further down the line. Another question we always get asked is, should I advertise my brand outside of Etsy? Should I be doing more with my posters? And again, Something further down the line, definitely. What I would say is at the start of your poster journey, your time should be going into Etsy. As I said before, Etsy ads are really great and really do work, and you can build success only bothering with just Etsy. So really do that at the start. If you are passionate about marketing and social media, and you also think it would be nice to have like an Instagram page or a TikTok page for your shop, definitely, it 100% can work, and you also can just drive traffic to your Etsy shop from those adverts. I've seen many great success stories of people doing this. There's a shop called Danny Issues. He started just from posting on TikTok, like slideshows of his products. His shop is now one of the biggest posted ones on Etsy as of like the past 6 months. So it's definitely a great strategy, but at the time, perfect your shop. Really, to have a successful Etsy shop, you need 500 plus listings. Don't get me wrong, you can do well with less, a lot of shops do, but it's almost a numbers game. So the more you can build up on Etsy, prioritize your time into doing that at first. When you are at a point of consistent sales, definitely think about expanding your brand. Definitely think about creating an Instagram and TikTok and things like that. You can also think about a Shopify website, because you might find it nice to build up your own website further down the line, and then your social media advertising can all direct to your website, just to really build that brand and also just have multiple sales channels. But at the start, don't waste your time, don't confuse yourself. Just focus on Etsy. Advertising outside of Etsy is a lot more difficult and complex, but again, if it is something that interests you, when you have a solid foundation, go for it, because there's no reason not to once you're in a comfortable position. So that is everything you need to know about the actual day-to-day running of your Etsy shop. I'm sure you can tell it is not intensive at all. You can really get it down to an hour a day. I will go through how to send orders with PrintShrimp and everything in the next video, because we try and make it as easy as possible for you. It's very intuitive and time-saving. So yeah, your main jobs really are, other than actually creating your products and uploading them, because that is what the majority of the time will go to, and that's what brings in the money, just replying to messages, trying to hit the star seller targets and things like that. And like I said, further down the line, you can then look into other shops, expanding your brand beyond Etsy and things like that. What if I told you there is a print-on-demand supplier you've not heard of that is 50 to 100% cheaper than Printify, Gelato and its competitors? Well, there is. It's called PrintShrimp, and it is a global print-on-demand supplier for posters, which are the best product for print-on-demand. And like I said, it is over half the price for most sizes compared to Gelato, Printify, Printful, and all of that. So you can actually enjoy your profits that you deserve when doing print-on-demand. So if you're new to print on demand and you just stumbled across this video, PrintShrimp specializes in posters, which, trust me, are the best product for print on demand. I've touched on all of this in a previous video, so please go back and look, but posters have some of the healthiest profit margins. They are one of the easiest to advertise and sell on Etsy. They are one of the best for beginners with design. They are the perfect product to start your print on demand journey, and to be honest, they'll be the only product you need through PrintShrimp. So let's get into the pricing. The number one difference between PrintShrimp and Gelato, for example, is that PrintShrimp is so much cheaper. The difference is actually crazy. It's quite horrific how much Gelato, Printify and Printful charge for people to print their posters, to be honest, and it makes it really hard to compete at a market rate on Etsy and actually enjoy a decent amount of profits. PrintShrimp is the only print-on-demand provider that allows you to benefit from £5 to £30 profit per sale comfortably without not being at the market level at all. If you use Gelato and Printify, you can probably only profit £2-3 an order while actually staying competitive. PrintShrimp is just makes sense. So what is the quality of the posters? Surely if it's so much cheaper, it must be a lower quality product, right? No, wrong. PrintShrimp in all locations uses a bare minimum of 200 GSM plus. In some places this goes up to 260. This is the standard same quality worldwide. If you look at Gelato, they class 200 GSM as their premium poster paper. We do not do that. 200 GSM is our base offering because that is the quality that your customers deserve. And no matter where we ship it, with PrintShrimp, no matter what location, it is going to be at their minimum 200 GSM, which is proper, thick, premium poster paper. You might wonder how PrintShrimp is able to offer such cheap prices, and to be honest, I think the main answer is that we are just not greedy. I would love to see what Gelato and Printify's profit margins are, but I have no idea how they can justify charging the prices that they are. It is absolute insanity. So what are PrintShrimp's processing and delivery times like? So we will always try our best to get your orders printed the same working day, which very much differs from other competitors because their standard is 1 to 3 working days, and it's normally 2 to 3, to be honest. If you can send your orders to us early in the morning, morning. We will, in 90% of cases, get them printed the same working day. Worst case scenario, the next working day your orders are printed and shipped. The same goes for tracking. We really try and prioritize getting your tracking to you as soon as possible so you can pass that on to your customer. Again, the industry standard is 1 to 3 working days, which normally ends up being 2 to 3, but we will always try and get your tracking to you the same working day or the next working day. This means you keep your customers happy, you keep your Etsy shop up to date, and you do not fall behind providing accurate delivery dates to your customers. We have an extensive network of global printers in different countries around the world, for example, England, America, and Australia, and we are expanding massively soon. This means that your orders will be sent in your buyer's home country where possible, which means that you can offer cheap shipping, which does not deter the customer from purchasing, and also really fast shipping, which would encourage the customer to order too. So it really makes sense to ship with this kind of global network, again, for a cheap and fair price. We also pride ourselves on quick and direct customer service. If you ever have an issue with an order, such as being lost in the mail or that kind of thing that lies to the fault of the carrier, just get in touch with us. We will fix it straight away, and you will always talk to a human. We don't do any of this AI support stuff. It's literally direct email. You will get a response within 1 to 2 hours on a working day, and we will fix it for you. We will resend any orders that are delayed in the mail, any orders that have been lost, anything that's gone wrong. We will never have you out of pocket for it. We will always back you and resend your order for you to A, keep you happy, but B, more importantly, keep your Etsy customer happy, because we want you guys to be star sellers. We want you to not be losing out on any potential sales or anything like that. You know, we're here to support you be the best you possibly can be at selling posters. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, we are starting a community to help people sell posters, so please check out our school. It's a place where you can connect with others doing a similar thing to you. You can ask questions. We'll be doing weekly drop-in calls and providing tailored support to your shops to really help you grow. It's completely free to join. We would never charge for any of our knowledge. We give it all to you completely for free, so please go check it out today and get started. So if you're at a point where you actually have a Etsy shop and you are ready to send poster orders, then please check out PrintShrimp. We have a very easy to understand price list with no hidden fees. The shipping is all included, as is VAT. We don't do any of these hidden costs or anything like that, and we make it very easy, because if you log on to websites like Printify, Gelato, there is no set real price list. You have to click, see the size, check where you're going to get it delivered to. We make it all very, very easy for you. So please familiarize yourself with our prices, and do compare them to Gelato and Printify, because for the same poster paper, we are so much cheaper. So please have a look for yourselves and see it with your own eyes. So in terms of sending orders, it's very easy. We have an order portal where you can literally log on, upload all of your posters, and then they will then be stored in our system. You can then place orders either from your computer or your phone out on the go. It's very, very easy. Literally follow it through step by step. All we need you to do really is put in your customer's address, select which poster you want to send to them, add it all to your basket, and then you can pay all in one go for an unlimited amount of orders. It is really, really very simple. We don't do any of these extra complications or anything like that. Send us your poster file, tell us where to send it, and it will get done for you the same day. You can either upload all of your posters to us beforehand so you have them all in one place, or if you prefer, just do it as you go, as you place your order at the point of sale. So who do we send our orders with? In the UK, it is a mixture between Royal Mail and Every, depending on the location we use. We do this to diversify between suppliers and ensure the quickest shipping times possible. In the USA, 99% of the time, our packages are sent with UPS. In Australia, we use Ozpost, which are again very reliable. So you can expect most of your packages in basically all of these locations to be delivered within 2 to at the very maximum 4 working days from the point of order. Again, our shipping is always incorporated into our price. We do not do any of this dynamic shipping where we will charge you more for locations further away from our print centers. We do a flat rate. Sometimes we lose out money doing that, but we just find it easier to pass it on to you guys that way and make it the best possible service for you. So there's no any of these extra calculations depending on what state in America you send it to, anything like that. What you see is what you get of our price list. It's one flat rate always. And of course, we have your back with any order issues or things like that. Some couriers do like to play boxing matches with poster packages. Some do lose them every now and then. Like, you know, it doesn't happen too often. But in any event like that, we will have you fully covered. You simply just need to drop us an email and a real human will get back to you and sort it out for you. We will never have you out of pocket. We will resend packages the exact same day that you provide us with the issue. We want you guys to be star sellers. We want you to succeed to the best of your ability. So we will always have you covered with very quick and human support. And as I said before, your tracking, as soon as it's available to us, will be added to your order portal and you will get an email notifying you of this so you know when to add it to Etsy. We we will also tell you what courier we have used just to make everything as clear and easy as possible for you guys.